Another week of multiple business disorder. Follow me round, and today we start the week by heading down to Derby. So I actually need to go down to Derby today because we're getting the fire alarm serviced, which I need to do every year. I decided to go down and do a few jobs at the same time. So just before the guy arrives to service the fire alarm, I decided I need to change a little fuse spur which links into the fire alarm. So they mentioned this on their last visit, and I just hadn't had a chance to go and swap it over, so I'm hoping to try and sneak it in before he gets there. So I start by turning the power off and then heading down, taking off this old fuse spur, wiring in the new one and fixing it in place. He does turn up just as I'm finishing it, so you have to wait 5 minutes, then it's all safe and he can crack on with it, and it's all as it should be. And then they get these cracker games, which we packed up, which we tried to sell at Christmas, but we didn't manage to sell, so we're giving it back to the guy that dropped them off. And then we have this smoke machine, which I have shown before. Do you know if there's a saw down here? I'm sure there used to be a saw. There's one upstairs. So we have a smoke machine in our game called Tommy, which is a World War I bunker. And the smoke's fed in through a pipe which comes out in the floor or just above floor level, and people always try and pull the pipe out and play with it, so I'm just rerouting it to run over the top of the walls so it comes down from above. So I'll screw this old pipe out of the way first, put some of these supports on the wall just so I've got something to fix the brackets onto, and then start cutting down the pipe just to get the right lengths so I can route it all up the wall and over the top. So there's the final run, goes up from the smoke machine, up the back of the wall and just over the top, just right this pipe. So it should be out of the way of customers, so they shouldn't try and play with it and pull it apart. So once it's in place, I then try and give it a test, make sure no smoke's coming out behind the scenes. And I did try and see if any smoke was coming through the walls. So I give it a good press there and try and run into the game, just so it's about the same time as when a customer would get through when they open the door and go through, and see if there is any smoke. Now you can see a little bit of smoke there lingering around, it doesn't seem very heavy. I did try and test it a few different times, turn the lights off and go back and test again with the actual light they'll probably use when they go through that part of the game. So they have this little lantern just to get down that corridor. And it doesn't seem very thick fog, there is something there, it's a bit hard to tell on this camera. I'm going to try and get some different type of fog fluid that goes in that's just a bit heavier and maybe hangs a bit more. I also have these torches which I brought down. There's a couple of games that we have torches that go missing, customers take them by accident, so I'm just replacing some and putting some in there. And then we have this fishing pole in our Christmas game which got broken a while ago. I'm just making a new one, putting a new hook on the end. And once I'm finished with that, I pack up the rest of the pipe and stuff that I brought down for that and head back home. So we move on to Tuesday. Get the car loaded up, and it's a distillery day because it's Tuesday, that's the day we normally go down. I head down there. We start, as always, just loading up the still and getting that running. That's the longest bit that it takes to run, so we're always normally waiting for the still, so it's the first job to do. And then I move on to checking over this stock that James brought back from the markets.
You agree to the... I confirm I'm a passenger in this booking or a duly authorised natural person. What's that mean?
Yeah, I'm a real human.
Yeah, what's that? I literally don't know what that means. Right.
So I am actually heading to Bucharest at the end of this week, so that's just me sorting out, checking in for flights and getting all ready. I'm going to carry on with checking this stock, and also I'm loading up some orders here that need to get sent out. John's here just labelling some third-party stock that we've been making, and that's him emptying the still after that first batch has run, and loading it up again and getting it running again. Then takes his measurements, adds the water, and cuts it to 40%. So another recipe for next week is this Rhubarb Gin. Again, it's not one of our recipes, but we're making it for someone else. So we start by cutting down all this rhubarb. There was absolutely loads of it, and it really kind of filled the urns. Kind of ran out of space, a bit tricky to try and manage this one. So that's it in the urns. We then pump out our NGS, mix that as well with our water to make up the 50% spirit. The water going in, and then we pour that into the ingredients and leave it to stew for a few days. At the end of the day, so I start packing up, close everything down and head back home. Now, it became a little bit of a disaster week this week. So on Wednesday, my daughter was ill, which meant she had to stay at home for 2 days. So because my wife had some in-person meetings to do, it was me that decided to stay home and look after her. So I tried to work from home, and she was mainly asleep all day this day. So I went on with some 3D printing. So this is again for Code to Exit. We're trying to replace a little key prop, which sits on some metal contacts. And previously, it just sits on some nails that are in the prop. So I'm trying to make some copper contacts that fit into a little section nicely. So I'm there just trying to bend them into place and play about with them. I'll go over and do my delivery to this new bar that's just opening. And then we're on to Thursday. So again, it's similar to yesterday, there's not much really happening. Trying to do a bit of paperwork, admin, carry on with this little 3D print that we're doing. Just a little jig to try and cut these copper plates once they're bent correctly and fit in. So let's cut those down.
So I've made a booking for the Leeds Bradford Airport Travel Lodge, and I just wanted to change it to get an extra double room.
Also trying to just change some hotels for our trip away at the end of the week. And then I head into town. So I've got to go meet one of my members of staff, Olivia, who is going to be taking over answering some of the phones. So there she is. I quickly kind of go through what she needs to do for that, and I also check out these review cards that we've got, because I've been told that we're running a bit low on some of the games. I head down to this jeweller's. I'll go and try and pick up the ring that I'm having repaired. Unfortunately, it's closed, got there a bit too late. That's it for town. So then I need to head over to a Appliances Direct to pick up a little mini fridge that we're taking over to Code to Exit at some point. So I go and collect that. And then head into Screwfix and just take back the pipe and other little sections that I used for the repair on Monday that I didn't need in the end. So Friday starts with a bit of snow. Need to go drop the kids off at school. I do a bit of admin, start just getting ready for the trip that we're going on. So I'm heading out later on that day, and we're going to go to stay at the airport because we fly really early morning. And then have a go with this little jig that I made to try and cut down these copper plates for the prop. I did struggle a little bit, so I need to carry on with that when I get back. And that's the end of our week, so if you did enjoy it, it's a bit of a short one this week, but please like and subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.